Hi, everyone. Hi, beauties. So, thank you for joining me. This is just a little snippet. This is a little short mini interview to promote a book, my book, our book that's launching on the 21st of May, Soul Mission, Leaders Ushering in the New Earth. And leading up to the launch date, I thought it'd be really fantastic to tell people a little bit about the chapter that I've written, but also speak to some of all of the other women, because this is a collaboration. Co-authoring this book with lots of different women and find out more about their soul mission and the chapter that they've written in the book. So today I'm with the beautiful Cornelia, who I'm speaking to from Germany, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask Cornelia a few questions so that you can get a feel for her soul mission and all of the wisdom that she's imparting in her chapter. And then she's just going to ask me a little bit about my chapter, and hopefully you'll get a feel for it and be inspired to go out and buy it on the 21st as well. So, hi, Cornelia.
Hi, Dominique.
Thanks for joining me. This is so exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So why don't you start by telling me about your soul mission, your calling to make this big impact and contribution to the world, right? It's a big journey, okay? And it can be quite a challenging journey. So I'm wondering, can we as leaders, as light leaders, prevent people making the same mistakes as we did when we embarked on this journey? It can be quite isolating and quite challenging, right?
It can be very challenging, and most of the time it is. And yeah, the short version of the answer would be no, we cannot prevent anyone from mistakes. I'm so sorry to say that, even if you have so much experience with your own missions, or maybe missions from other lives too. But it is our very own mission to do some experiences, and some of them, and some people say it's most of them, we consider as mistakes. But in the end, it's all a learning process. And what we can do as light leaders is tell people that this is not wrong and you're not on the wrong way or so. This is an experience your soul once chose, whether you like it today or not. But your soul chose it from a place where there was no time and space, and maybe they considered things on the timeline a little bit shorter, for example. Yeah, as I had almost 30 years of back pain, and I think my soul thought, oh yeah, I want to make a really good experience. I'm really someone who wants to tackle it down. So 3 days of back pain is not enough. So,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
so and from my point of view today, I would say, are you crazy? Yes, but somehow it went that way. And so, as a leader, a light leader, working with people on their spiritual path, can only encourage them and help them to put away what's blocking them from an easy journey on their path.
Yeah, that's beautiful, because I think it's really easy sometimes to think we're getting it wrong on the spiritual path if bad things happen, challenging things happen, but actually to remember that it's something that we chose as part of our initiation into being able to share it is true. I mean, you have, such an incredibly beautiful soul mission, part of it helping souls pass into the light, right? But you've moved from that into also helping other people on their journey with their soul mission. So I think maybe apart from anything else, I'll ask, did the back pain go away after 30 years?
Yes, it did. And it was an interesting journey with that, because I started to heal it on the physical level and it didn't work out. And then I had to search for other approaches. And then you come to your spiritual mission. And yeah, in the end, it went away. And now when I have something with my back, this is the perfect alert system, because when there's something with my back, I'm really on guard and say, oh yeah, there must be a problem or something. If my energy field, my body would send me something else, yeah, with the foot or the fingers, so I would not react that way. So
Yeah, right. Right. So now you know it's like a message to pay attention to. Yeah, great. So, how do you support people now when they're struggling with their soul mission?
um, I yeah, I can say I invented something. I do a reading that really covers all the levels we have: the physical level, the mental level, emotional level, and of course the karma level. So we get to know where are things that are blocking you to a certain question. Doesn't matter if that is love life or business or family or something. And so you have a good impression of what's wrong. And most of the time, it's not that this leads into 20 years of work together. But you can see that everything is entangled on
Mm,
so many levels. And it's nice to do chakra healing, but maybe it's something with the inner child, and then you will not reach that so good. And so, and when we found that out in during my journey, and now my business as a mentor and coach, I learned so many methods, and I can help people with with almost everything.
yeah.
So sometimes I feel a little bit bold to say that, but I have really a lot of good approaches to help. And so I like to go this holistic way. I'm not that person anymore to say, oh yeah, everything can be healed with chakra clearing or so. It can, but then it will take a little bit longer.
Mm, mm. Yeah, I totally hear you. Yeah, I think that's part of the soul mission is we go through so many different things in order to like get that toolbox of everything that we can then
Yeah,
help other people with, right?
yeah,
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much.
yeah. Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, lovely to speak to you.
Yes. So I learned about your soul mission, that you're helping people to come into their radiance, and I think that sounds so beautiful,
Mm.
because really so many people only feel that they are wrong, like I said before, yeah, but not radiant at all. How did you experience your soul mission around this um,
Mm.
main issue of waiting?
Of waiting for radiance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, that's an interesting question. Yeah, so it's been my journey. I think, like a lot of teachers, I went on my own journey and my own, like we've just been talking about, my own challenge, my own struggles to fully shine my light into the world. And it's through that journey that uh, it became my life's work to share with others. And there's so many different aspects to radiance for me, you know. And what was confusing, I think, for me is because on one level, it's about being visible, about having the courage to be visible and share our gifts with the world. And as spiritual teachers and as healers, as entrepreneurs, as coaches, as just women in business, even as I like work with just execs, women in business, it can be really difficult to do that. There's lots of blocks that we have inside us holding us back from being seen, and there's also lots of cultural and ancestral blocks for women, women to be confident in radiating their light. You know, I often talk about the fact that I live in Scotland, and very close nearby in the town where I live, they used to roll witches down the hill in barrels that they set alight. I mean, it's horrific. You know, there's this whole witch wound around visibility that we carry in us. But really, you know, I worked in brand and marketing, and I worked as an actress and a presenter. So for me, it seemed really strange that I had all these skills that should mean it's really easy to shine your light and to present yourself. And yet I was holding myself back. So that was my journey, really. I had to go on this deep dive into understanding, why am I struggling so much to share my gifts? Why am I so frightened? And then that deep journey was a spiritual path. I quit my career in London and I went traveling, and I started traveling, and I ended up traveling for 7 years. So it became a really long journey. Where I went on this journey, and a bit like you, I didn't find it was just one thing that helped me. I kept having to go through layers and layers and layers, and where I really see that it's what conceals our radiance within us is often this unhealed trauma or wounding from childhood or from experiences in adulthood that have us contract and have us feel frightened, and we start to hide ourselves. We don't feel safe to show ourselves. And what I realized is we create this false self, we don't feel safe to show our authentic self. So that journey was a kind of unraveling of all of that to come back to the heart, back to the radiance of the heart. And that's also where my spiritual path started, as a meditation teacher of the heart. So it's about radiating that light out and really being centered and grounded in an authentic confidence, this authentic expression of ourselves, which is this love that radiates from our heart, not the kind of hiding in any way, shape or form our natural expression.
That's really lovely to hear. Yeah, so nice. Thank you. So, tell us why to let go of the need for approval from our false self became important for you and your journey and your work.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's like, well, it's the false self that wants approval from others. And it's really hard to creatively express ourselves or just to live our potential and share our gifts in any way if we're looking for approval from others. And like many people, like many women, dare I say, but like people,
Yeah.
we often kind of grow up in environments where we're rewarded for being good. We have parents, or we have teachers, we have headmasters, or we have like a peer group at school that reward us for being good and punish us for when we don't do what they want. And then that makes us feel bad. It makes us feel selfish. And looking out through things with a child's lens, we make a lot of meaning about ourselves at a very young age. And some of those meanings are, it's not safe to be me. It's not safe to be seen as me. So if I just try and keep everyone else happy and agree with everyone else and people please, this people pleaser is an expression. It's become very kind of well known now, but it's a trauma response. It's a way of keeping ourselves safe. And if we can't do that, we can't be in the people pleaser mode and looking for other people's approval and share of ourselves authentically in a way that enables us to reach our full potential. They don't sit well together. So in order to become who we're meant to be, we need to let go of that need of approval from others, the need for belonging from our tribe, which is essentially what it is. And that's a challenging journey. There's a lot of biological and ancestral and emotional things that are pulling us back all the time. But it's about that journey from belonging to becoming our authentic self and letting go of that approval. And there's all sorts of ways, maybe a bit like you, that I use to try and help people on that journey.
I love that. Really. So tell us about your approach when working with others.
Yeah. Well, yeah, as I like I just said, it's very similar to you in that I've found on my own journey, just one modality, one healing tool wasn't enough. And it would take me a certain stage, it would get me to a certain place, but then something would come up, it would be painful, and then I would look for need to look for the next level. So I combine all of the things that have worked for me. And like you, it's a holistic approach. So I work with advanced hypnotherapy to work with the mindset.
Yeah.
And that's really important. So we do regression back to childhood to understand where these beliefs came from, the root cause of them, and then we kind of pull them out and replace them with using neuro-linguistic programming. I also work with emotional healing and energy healing as well, because we hold so much energy in our cells and in our nervous system. These patterns are wired in at a physical level, an emotional and energetic level. So I also do something called heart healing, which is, again, it uses hypnotherapy and mindset work, but it combines that with deep inner child work, visualization, and energy healing as well. So those are the two healing components. And then on top of that, I do coaching. I use a system of coaching called the Feminine Power System, which is all about coming into our power as women and rewiring our relationship to power so that we start accessing our inner resources, our confidence, our courage, our intuition, our receptivity, our compassion, our love, all of that. And then start looking, start dismantling the old lens of what held us back and start creating a new lens and a new story. So it's very action oriented. It's all about moving and becoming into this future self and specifically taking action, because that's what changes behavior and that's what builds the muscle. And then as part of that process, I do energy healing, and I give my clients meditations, because it's very important for me that everything comes from the heart. And I work with the goddesses as well. So these divine feminine archetypes are blueprints of energy that we can use to kind of come into our power, come into our radiance more. So there's a strong weaving of the divine feminine in everything that I do. And I found that all of it together is what helps people have a transformation in a really quick amount of time.
Yeah, that is exactly the holistic approach I so love, and I would never miss again, really.
Yeah.
This is the only thing that's helpful when you look at it from different angles. Two sides are sometimes not enough. You
Yeah,
just need
absolutely.
really a holistic view on what's there, and there are so many things you can do at the same time and not after another without having too much change. So
Yeah, that's right.
yes,
Yeah, perfect.
that's really lovely to hear that there's someone else having that approach.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Ah, so thank you, Cornelia. Thanks for the
Yeah.
mini interview.
Oh, thank you, Dominique.
Yeah,
Yes, it was a
really.
pleasure.